Hi there, Luke Scadden. Like apparently tens of millions of people across the country, I went and voted early this week, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's amazing, and I'm extremely fortunate and proud to be in this country and to be able to have the opportunity to do so and the freedoms to do so. And as I was going down through the ballot here in my county and going through different things on the local and county and state and obviously national level, the the choices varied, but most of the time the choices were only from two parties. Sometimes there was a third party, and sometimes there were independents, and sometimes there were write-in choices or that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's two parties. And I mentioned after having shared that I had voted that hopefully maybe in the future that our political system can be set up for equal voices to be shared from more than one political party. And especially in last night's debate, for example, the two head-to-head guys running for president, that I called it that we're in this political disease called BiTrumpden-20, or BiTrumpden-20, in that a lot of people wind up voting for not someone who they actually want to be president, unless they're voting strictly along party lines, but many people are voting because they don't want that other person to be president, whoever that is, And after watching the debate last night, I didn't watch the last one where it was all chaotic. I did watch the one last night. That it was more of an affirmation, just for me personally, that neither one of these people, I think, represent our country as a whole or the well-being of the majority of Americans. I'm not wanting to take down either one of them personally or anything like that. That's just my personal views on that. And I couldn't help thinking again today, as I thankfully see so many more people, going out to vote, that it really is an unfortunate injustice that we are forced to accept, in most cases, one or the other party as being our only two main choices or hopes of someone who is going to then represent us. And defeat us out there say, well, you can't vote for somebody else in a different party because they're never going to win. Well, no, maybe not this particular year, but as long as we keep having that idea, and as long as the two parties are in charge or continuing to write the rules of how elections happen and how they say who can and can't be part of national debates and who can and can't be on the national ballots or on ballots in different states, and all those things that are controlled by these two people who need each other to exist. Democrats need Republicans to fight against. Republicans need Democrats to fight against, because who else are they going to fight against? Infighting is the problem. Our country is strong and amazing and wonderful, and no matter who wins between these two guys, some things will improve, some things will get worse, and all they're going to do is continue to blame each other for the things that got worse and take credit for the things that got better. But it's not actually solving the problem of division within our country. The division is because there's 50% roughly majority, one way or the other, from any given election to another. And until we can have an even playing field for independent voices, until we can have an even playing field for third parties and fourth parties and fifth parties and things like that, not just in the presidential election, but in many other elections as well, and to make room for this and to welcome this, it's always going to be this way. So no matter who wins in a couple weeks, roughly half the Americans are going to complain and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe he won. And they're going to be right. They're going to be right. And the other half, who are celebrating the victory and trashing the other candidate, are also going to be right. And at the same time, I don't know that any of us actually wins in that, except for the fact that we're in this amazing country and that we are so blessed to be here. This is not anti-patriotic in any form, in any way, shape, or form at all. And I'm not trying to make a platform for any of the individual topics within the parties or anything like that. But for example, if I have a discussion with people about any of the topics that are generally along one party line or another, then if I agree with one subject, then they automatically assume I must be a member of that other party. But then if I agree with this subject, then they go, wait a second, but you agree with that. I'm like, yeah, because I don't have to, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. But unfortunately, that's what we're faced with most of the time is all or nothing. You vote blue or you vote red. You vote Democrat, you vote Republican. In most cases, that's all we're left with. And independent voices and other parties, libertarians, etc., are left with very little meat on the bone. Very little. Because the two controlling ones continue to write the laws to keep them out. Because that's where they want all the money. There's billions of dollars spent on this election, billions of dollars that could have gone toward helping other social causes, that could have gone for more economic aid in this time of the pandemic, that could have gone for all these other things. But instead, people, corporations, all these different things are throwing money to have one party or another in charge. And a lot of places are hedging their bets and voting for and giving money to both. Why don't we level that playing field and have people up there who can present a plan and stand on a platform that is based on merit alone and not backed by who gave more money or which controlling interest put them in that spot to begin with. Because 4 years from now, and 2 years from now in the off election, but 4 years from now when there's another presidential election, there's going to be some other case of BiTrumpden. Who knows who it's going to be? Unless we stand up and say, hey, we deserve to not fight against each other. We deserve to be able to hear other voices who might have other solutions instead of just walking down party lines. I could rant forever, and I might. You probably already tuned away from this if you're watching at all, if you got this far. But I can't believe, I honestly can't believe that, as I scroll down, let's say social media, for example, and I see friends of mine and family members of mine who are so convinced that the other candidate is terrible and that there's nothing good that could come out of them. And vice versa. Or that, my candidate is amazing and therefore I'm going to forgive everything else. Or they go, well, yeah, I may not agree with him, but I'm not going to vote for that person. So it's like it's a defensive move. It's not actually voting along values in many cases. So I'll spare the 30-minute diatribe that I could go on and just end it off there. So that's my thing. Let's figure out a way in the next 4 years to end similar cases of the BiTrumpden disease in the future. Because 4 years ago it was the Trumpden. It was just another version of the same disease that we're continually faced with. And our country is too amazing to have to put up with that. Just red and just blue, just Democrat and just Republican. There's a lot of other shades in between that deserve voices. Think about it. I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully it's not hate mail because I'm not digging on any one party any more than the other. And I'm not saying they need to go away. I just think that there needs to be additional things. So that's all I got. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to election season being over. I'm looking forward to health and happiness and healing for a lot of people, no matter what happens. And, if you want to, anytime, hit me up, lucascatton.com. Take care.